Hello?
Yes, hi, this is Mike Morcom from CitiBank calling back.
Oh, hi. Thanks for returning my call, Mike.
No problem, no problem. And my apologies, I got stuck on another call that just wouldn't end.
Oh, yeah.
And also in returning your call, it's amazing the number of people that have taken vacation the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, difficult to reach out because I've been reaching out to a couple people I know in custody that have been out, so I've been following up on out of office
Wow.
emails. So I don't have an answer yet, but
Okay.
I am still trying to get a person to speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just from some conversations, that a custodian is at liberty to disclose, their particular position. But again, I want to
Yeah.
find the right person in custody that can give a definitive answer on that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. I'm assuming that they're not an apartment that the public can normally reach. I'm sorry, excuse me. Stay here, boy.
Sure.
I can easily just obviously call myself and just, speak to someone directly like I'm speaking to you right now, right?
Yeah, they tend to not be a client-facing organization because they
Yeah,
tend to, work directly with like broker dealers
of
or
course.
financial institutions.
Yeah, yeah.
On the depository receipt side, we're obviously client-facing. So,
Understandable. But is that something that, well, I'm assuming that you maybe not don't know. That's why you got to figure it out if it's possible that they can even disclose that information, right? If it's something that's supposed to be publicly available, because considering it's working with a U.S. security, which is supposed to be publicly, right? And also within Brazil itself, the BDR that it represents is also a publicly traded security on their market. So I'm not sure where the requirement for confidentiality of protection of public information I was assumed would be. I mean, I don't know if I'm understanding that properly or not.
for instance, in the U.S., when a depository says, there are X number of shares of outstanding ADRs,
Yeah.
right? A depository has a fiduciary responsibility. Obviously, when I would imagine there are, comparable, requirements in Brazil. There's no fiduciary law as we know it in the U.S., but there are comparable, legal equivalents in Brazil.
Yeah.
So if a depository is saying, there are X number of BDRs outstanding, and there are, the ratio is 1-to-1.
Yes.
Right? They have a comparable obligation to make sure that information is correct.
Yeah, that's what I understood it too as I was researching the laws down in Brazil. Because I mean, I'm assuming obviously um, in general respect that they want the laws to protect everybody that's investing in the markets, and obviously not just geared towards financial institutions, right? They want to make it a fair marketplace, like how we are trying to do also. So, I mean, I would assume that they were supposed to, but that's what we're trying to. That's what I want to try to figure out as an investor, if that's really truly the case, because that just seems kind of weird that at the moment, looking at the conversion rate, it's 6-to-1 for AMC to the BDR in Brazil. So looking at their outstanding BDRs that they have listed on their exchange, which is 3.8 billion, and of course with that 61 conversion ratio, that comes out to approximately about 510 million underlying shares that you guys are supposed to be holding in custody according to the rules, and regulations for both countries, right? Then that's what I need to figure out. Is that really truly what you guys are actually holding for the Brazilian company that's, I guess, representing these BDRs?
That would be the depository.
Yeah, in Brazil, right?
Correct. So,
Yeah.
For the depository, to be able to issue that BDR,
Yeah.
right, it needs to know that it has, received into its, custody account.
Correct. Which is you guys, right?
Which is us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, the custody business, because that's a separate area, I don't think, they're going to be at liberty to disclose because their client is the depository.
Yeah.
Right? My guess is they're going to be not at the liberty to disclose information as it pertains to their client.
Okay.
But they're going to want to get somebody from that business area to apply.
Of course. I understand. That's... Hello? Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry, give me 1 second. You're breaking up. I'm kind of in a bad cell phone area. I'm just passing through it real quickly. Sorry.
Sure.
Can you hear me now? Or am I breaking up?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. I can hear you much better now. It was just a small little section that I was just driving through. So sorry, continue back to where you were leaving off. I think you were talking about, you said the requirement to actually have those shares and the custodial department giving the information out.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the answers I'm providing are accurate.
Yeah, understandable.
Best to describe their business.
True. If at least if I can't find out the specific amount or whatever that's in there, they should be able to at least give me the name of the Brazilian company down there. That's the deposit, not the depository, but the depository. That is correct. The depository down there. That's actually.
Are you looking for the depository on that program, right?
Yeah, the name of the company that's actually hosting that BDR.
Yeah, let me look. I might be able to find that for you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be either B3 Banco or what is that, Pascual, probably, because they're usually the two biggest ones down in that country. So they typically handle all of the BDRs normally, but I don't know if that's the case for this specific BDR for AMC.
Yeah, for unsponsored, Banco B3 tends to be the most active, and then for sponsored programs, either Bradesco or Itaú.
Oh, okay. So it is an unsponsored, so obviously it will almost be guaranteed to be B3 Banco then, huh? But most likely. Yeah, most likely.
Let's see.
And unfortunately, I don't speak Portuguese, so it's hard for me to reach anybody down there that, to speak English, in which to, I don't know if I would have to, since they are the depository, where I would get the prospectus on that. I'm assuming that I would have to try to get it through them, since they're the ones hosting it, and even though you guys are the custodial.
If it's an unsponsored program, there's going to be no prospectus. Right?
Oh,
prospectus would be in connection with an offering.
True. That's right. That's unfortunate.
Let's see here.
Well, I mean, while you're looking at that, if you don't mind answering the question for me, would it technically be illegal then, considering that the rules and the regulations state that, the country that has the underlying asset, which it's from, which is of course us, in this situation, the United States, you guys are the custodial bank, as you say, right? And the requirements for both sides say that in order for them to issue a BDR, which if they try to do the exact opposite scenario, the underlying asset needs to be held by the originating country for which that stock is representing. That stock is representing, right?
Well, that's typically how a depository receipt works.
Yeah.
Is because you're providing access to a instrument in a foreign country.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Your options would include, for instance, if you wanted to have exposure to Vale in Brazil, you could open a local custody account in Brazil and buy the ordinary shares yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Or acquire the ADR.
Yeah, then that's why it would be considered unsponsored if you had to do it yourself and it's not with the cooperation of the underlying company, right?
Yeah, so Vale is probably a bad example because that's a sponsored program.
Oh, yeah.
Petrobras Distribuidora, they have an unsponsored program.
Okay.
2 or 3 banks, have unsponsored programs with them. So each of the depositories of the unsponsored ADRs will have, some custodial arrangement in Brazil to hold the underlying
asset, right? Which is what's going to represent the DR over in this country. Yeah, I gotcha. So I mean, like I said, so that with that assumption and given the outstanding BDR listing on the Brazilian quotes that we see daily, so that really should technically mean that even without confirmation from the custodial department, that the calculation of the 6-to-1 ratio should mean that you guys should have about 510 million shares inside your custodial bank vaults, right? Because that's what the calculation literally comes out to.
Yeah, that's what the math would suggest.
Yeah, but see, the thing is my question is, how is that even possible, considering that the total outstanding amount of shares that the company even issues is 513 million?
I have to look into that.
That would be physically impossible, technically, right? Because legally wise, that would imply that if that many amount of shares were being held by you guys.
Are you doing the reverse? Is it one?
No, because it's every 6 BDRs, the A2MC34 BDR. It's 6 BDRs to 1 AMC share representation. So that means that you guys need to hold.
1/6 of a share for each BDR.
Yeah. So that means calculated the reverse way, right? Would mean that you guys are supposed to have about 510 million shares in your vaults. If they're selling 3.08 billion BDRs in Brazil for the AMC share in their country. Kind of see the big dilemma there with the numbers, right?
And again, because we're not depository on this.
Yeah, no, I kind of get you. I know there's like legal ramifications on what possibly you guys can each divulge, considering how the contract between you guys probably works also. There also is a custodial agreement that needs to be signed by both parties. That technically also should be available, though, because I found one for other companies that you guys represent. So that is public knowledge and public information that's supposed to be available to anybody, right? Because I found this on the web.
I don't know the details behind what you found.
Okay. It was from your website, though, because the web link, it's CitiBank. So it's not from some other like entity that copied it from somewhere and just pasted it on their website and hosted it there separately. It's just kind of hard to find out where the originating web page was to even get to that point. I just Googled some information and it pulled up that specific agreement document that was signed by both parties for the DR.
Again, I'd have to see the specifics on that arrangement.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of stuff available on the internet.
I hear you. Yeah, sometimes that happens, huh? Sure. I just wanted to actually ask you a quick question, just as we continue on. Typically, when you guys call somebody or when I call somebody at Citibank, normally all the phone calls are recorded for, customer service issues and, verification purposes or whatever. That's still the case, even if you call me or I call you, right? I'm sorry, what was that? You were kind of breaking up, right?
This is not a recorded line.
Oh, it's not. Oh, that's only if I call like the regular customer service line?
It depends whichever bank customers may have any traders. Those are usually subject to recording.
I see.
Again, I can't answer questions about other businesses.
I understand. I got you. It's not what you're involved with, so I mean, I wouldn't expect you to speak on that at all. It's kind of interesting how difficult they make it to research this information for yourself as an investor. Because, I mean, if you're really well, obviously informed, right, you want to make sure you have all this information at hand before you decide to, especially invest money into a different country that has different rules and regulations than we do.
Do you actually own BD?
No, I'm researching the underlying stock that is supposed to be held in custodial agreement with you guys.
You have to ask, are you a member?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. Was that? Yeah, am I a member of what? Oh, no, I'm not a member of anything. I'm just a regular retail investor. Like literally live here in Vegas. I'm not connected to any company or anything like that whatsoever. So no, I'm not reporting on behalf of anybody. This is only for my personal information, that's all. I know. Internet's kind of wonky nowadays. We've been seeing a lot of like cyber attacks happening all over the country and affecting internet speeds and everything to regular residents. Kids. Yeah, they're weird. Oh, we left the soda home. Dang, thirsty. Oh, thank you. That's right. I got my water. Appreciate it.
It does look like the depository is Banco B3.
It is Banco B3, okay.
That's what I'm seeing when I search.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's what we found. That's information I found myself also. So I just wanted to make sure, since you guys obviously are the custodial bank, legally you should obviously know who in the world that bank or that institution that purchased those shares for, right? Who that is, obviously.
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
Right, so there'll be a broad custodial relationship.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. Yeah.
To Banco B3, they're the depository.
Yeah.
Parties best able to talk about, ratios or anything else.
Yeah.
And, the custodian, isn't necessarily privy to a ratio on a depository. The custodian is responsible for holding, shares.
Yeah.
Because, there might be a stock split, today it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
The company announces a stock split, so all of a sudden the number of depository receipts doubles, right?
Exactly.
To a 2-to-1, but the custodian is still holding the same number of underlying shares.
Correct, because of what happened in the American market as to what needs to also reflect inside the Brazilian market for the BDR counterpart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful, yeah. So I guess, yeah, if it's possible, I guess if I can get any kind of information from the custodial department then, since that's what...
To find a contact, and again, I don't think they're going to be at liberty to disclose specific holdings of a particular stock for a client with a contractual arrangement.
Of course.
So we still want to make sure your hopes going but I will ask the question.
No, like I said, all I really want is honestly the confirmation of what the law states, and that obviously if they are following within the confine of the laws and rules and regulations set by both markets, then it truly does represent like actually what it says in their market, right? The BDR conversion, ratio to the American underlying stock is 6-to-1, and legally you should be required, and they should have bought that many shares to put in your custodial vaults, right? That's kind of really what I want to make sure of. And there's no really way around that or anything like that.
You only need to speak to Banco B3 as the depository.
Yeah.
Again, a custodian has nothing to do with ratios
Yeah.
of, a depository receipt to underlying.
Okay.
That's something, that, a depository,
Sets up.
is best positioned to answer the question.
I see. I understand. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's for me. I just really wanted to confirm that the U.S. counterpart is actually holding whatever amount of specific shares inside on their behalf, right? Because that's what they're paying you guys for that service.
Again, I don't, that's, the same thing as, saying, CitiBank holds a deposit for Jim Doe. We disclose, the bank, what our aggregate deposits are, but the bank's under no obligation to disclose, an individual's deposit amount. So when there's contractual arrangements, right, same thing, the bank will disclose positions on, different derivatives, right?
Yeah.
Its derivative book is X, but, you don't have the right to call and say, how many interest rate, what's the aggregate interest rate swap position you hold for, ExxonMobil, right?
Understandable, yeah.
Arrangement with clients.
Yeah, it's always a legal issue whenever it comes to big institutions. So, they always have to protect themselves, I guess, from whatever reasons.
Well, there's also consumer protection laws and other regulations. Banking industries are highly regulated.
Truly, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I agree. I mean, it's for everybody's protection, and that's involved, obviously, right? So, I mean, that's nothing to be obviously upset about as any financial institution that controls a lot of money. You want to make sure everything's well protected for everybody all the way around. Okay. I guess if you can get that get that information from me and have somebody contact me, that'd be wonderful. I truly appreciate you even educating me on what you've told me so far. It means a lot.
Sure.
Okay. So I guess I'll just wait for somebody to give me a call from hopefully that department then. Or what?
With further information.
Okay. I'll go ahead and wait there. Thank you so much again, Mike.
Yep. Bye-bye.
You have a good one. Bye.